Good morning. I'm SkyRa. I'm coming to you live from Big Island, Hawaii. And I'm so excited to be actually in my own space on this beautiful land. And I'm finally at a place where I'm stabilized through a huge process of my own that I've been through the darkness, which I'm going to speak about today, which is part of our soul evolution, and it's what I posted on this morning. So I'm just going to give it a few minutes to see who shows up, and if you are catching the live as I'm speaking, I would love to know who you are, where you're coming in from. Feel free to comment on anything that I speak about. Yeah, if you're catching the replay, same. I try to get back and comment or respond to anything on my posts. But I am SkyRa, and I work in soul evolution, helping people through traumas and triggers and the inner healing mastery work that's required as we go through the awakening process. So I try to make it easier on people to get through the process and to see through our ego programming. So today I want to speak about what I said I was going to talk about was, or last week when I did my live, I said that when I posted something on my story or my feed on Facebook that I would like to do a live about it, to speak a little bit more in depth about it, because I know that a lot of times people don't really understand the fullness of what I'm saying, or they might, and that's another aspect I'm going to speak about today, is triggers and projections, because when we are able to go deeper into our soul evolution and our awakening process, we don't we still find there's triggers, that things that people say, or there's projections on the things that trigger us. And what I always tell my clients is triggers and projections are always they are a message. They're a message from our soul that what still is within that needs to still be healed. Or how are we able to maintain these projections and triggers when they come about to us, and how are we able to maintain our own energetic frequency? How are we able to maintain our own balance during those triggers and projections? But for darkness, I'm going to go back to darkness. That it is one of the most powerful tools for the evolution of our consciousness and our soul awakening. And I have some notes here to keep myself on point because I'll go off onto other things, and I just want to keep my lives kind of short, so that I can speak about the things that I post. And I welcome you here if you are just coming on. If I've gotten a ton of new Facebook friends, and I welcome you and thank you for showing up, and I would love to get to know you better. But it's what I'm going to speak about. It's about embracing both the aspects of ourself. We embrace both the feminine and masculine, the darkness and light within our own soul, so that, and that is where the place where our heart opens. It's where spirit can enter into our consciousness more fully through the awakening process. It's like a gradual clearing, a deepening into understanding of our own soul, our soul essence. And what happens through trigger or through our childhood and trauma is that our ego develops stories and it develops the way to protect ourselves. It's our ego is a soul protection mechanism, where we develop it from childhood so that we don't have to feel pain or suffering, or we can dismiss the things that we don't want to face in our life. But what happens is that it will create patterns in our life that cause us more suffering. It's a subconscious program that can run. It can come in a way of projecting, of blaming, shaming, that all of our problems come from the outside, which is projection, and that triggers people who can see things differently than we are seeing because of our own ego program, that it becomes a trigger for us. So I want to speak about bypassing part of the awakening process, which I certainly went through in the beginning. Was we come into a place of bliss and joy, and like a feeling of oneness, and a feeling of, I only want high vibes. I only want to feel the good. I only want to feel, I don't want anyone around me that is going to bring me any kind of darkness or depression or things I don't want to see, which is actually an aspect of myself that I wanted to get away from through the awakening process. And I'm not saying that we can't get away from it. It's just that is an aspect of ourselves that we have to embrace to fully come into our soul essence. And part of the awakening process is going through the place where we have rose-colored glasses, that we want to just feel that high vibe bliss. This is spiritual bypassing. And that is something that a lot of people are in right now. And because we only want to see the good, the light. We don't want to look at the darkness because we feel like we might have already lived in so much darkness. But that is from the outside. And when we can start seeing within, because as within, so without, it's not only is it outside of us, like the government and all these things that are happening on the outside of us that we're awakened, that caused our awakening, that it's all happening, but it's actually, we can understand that aspect is also within us. And that when we can embrace that part of us, that's when the clearing begins, the full clearing. So our awakening is not over truly until we go through the darkness, to be able to see the darkness, the dark aspects of ourself. It's a wild ride. It's not a linear path. It's a spiraling. So it starts here. It goes, it's way out here. And then slowly, as we start embracing both aspects of ourselves, able to get beyond those triggers and those projections happens faster, or anything that's happening in our life that is causing pain and suffering, it becomes easier to navigate. Our soul evolution is not about perfection. It's not about maintaining our highest frequency. And I know that I'm going to do a masterclass. A Facebook group, December 14th through 16th, on embodied frequency and life force energy, because this is a way to navigate and be able to come back to center quicker through the awakening process. But we can't just dismiss the dark aspects of ourself. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to go into my notes here, make sure there's a couple things I wanted to talk about. That I said is the darkness is the womb space of creation. Sometimes in our suffering in our heartbreaks and in our losses is where we have the most heart opening. We have the place where it can burn away the false aspects of ourself. And I know for myself, this is what I just walked through. And it's not over ever, but it's that part of the awakening process. We have to go through that deep darkness and embrace that darkness within us to see our shit, our bullshit. I mean, that we have within, that we're wearing these rose-colored glasses and we're projecting all of these things on others because we want them to complete us in some way, but we have to embrace it within ourselves so that we can complete it within ourselves. Our darkness, our light, our shadow is the way to the heart space, the opening to allow spirit to come in so that we are embodying our full soul essence. I know that's really deep and there's a lot, and I think I shared what I wanted to share today. I'm going to be doing a masterclass on triggers and projections. I believe it's going to be on December 7th, but if you're interested and getting information on it, please leave a comment or emoji in the comments on this video, and I'll be sure that you get the information. To speak more about this, to speak more about embracing the dark aspects of ourselves so that we can ease the triggers and the projections that we see in others. I see this as huge right now in the awakening process. This is why we're seeing so much arguing and fighting and things that project. It's like people don't like something we say because it's actually triggering something within that if you're finding something to trigger you inside, we really need to look within to see where is it that it's causing that trigger. It could just be a program. It could be a program of shame or guilt that's still playing out. Or it could be something that we need to look at deeply within ourselves to see if it's something that we need to alchemize and transmute. So I thank you for this showing up at this talk today. I will try to do these weekly to explain my posts so that it makes more sense, and for others to know more about me and what I'm bringing in and offering in the future. So thank you for being here today. Thank you so much. Aloha.